gives up a unique position on the Lord's chest in order to serve his feet. Therefore, even Lakshmi gets to serve the feet, what to speak of everybody else. So in this sense, the lotus feet of the Lord are available for everyone. In the same way as that, as Lakshmi is accepted at the lotus feet of Vishnu, the gopis speak of Krishna, not identifying as Supreme Lord, but simply because the Lord is so merciful to Lakshmi, so Krishna should be very, very merciful to the gopis and accept serving his lotus feet. Of course, they actually aspire for more than that, but they put themselves in a humble position. So their actual request is that Krishna does not reject them because he has told them to go home and serve their husbands and parents, etc. So, in reply to that, they state here that actually you should be very merciful to us and accept us at your lotus feet. We want to serve you in some way or other, just as Vishnu is served by so many great devotees and even Lakshmi herself. So they also put themselves in the position of Lakshmi to some degree here, and that is not unjustified because we often see the gopis, they are called Lakshmis, as we see in the Brahma Samhita. Krishna is served by thousands and thousands of Lakshmis. Lakshmi Sahasra, Sevyamam. So Govinda is served by thousands of Lakshmis. So this is not Vishnu's Lakshmi, these are gopis. So the word Lakshmi is often used for the gopis and sometimes for Radha as well. Why are they given that term is because we can say that Lakshmi is an expansion of Radha and the gopis. So just as Krishna has his consort in the form of Radha, so Vishnu has his consort in the form of Lakshmi. So the ultimate Lakshmi, therefore, is Radha, and then her expansions or her associates are also like Lakshmi. So, in other words, the position of Krishna with the gopis is very exalted. It's not an ordinary relationship. And in many cases, we say it's eternal as well, just as the relationship between Vishnu and Lakshmi is eternal. So the relationship between Krishna and these gopis, and especially Radha, is also eternal. So they're eternally the consorts of Krishna, and therefore they deserve that name of Lakshmi or Shri or whatever. Now, of course, by convention, the word Shri also refers not only to Lakshmi, but also to beauty and wealth and other auspicious items. So, of course, Lakshmi is the abode of all wealth and auspiciousness, being the Shakti of Vishnu. And similarly, the gopis, and particularly Radha, is the consort of Krishna. So then she also has extraordinary wealth and extraordinary beauty, of course all spiritual, which is, surpasses even the wealth and the beauty of Lakshmi in Vaikuntha. Since Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan, so his consort also is in the highest position. So therefore, the beauty and the wealth and the powers of Radha are superior to anyone else. So she is the ultimate Lakshmi. So normally, of course, people and the demigods follow after Lakshmi. And some of them follow after Lakshmi for material reasons, because of wealth, etc. This actually is an inferior aspect of Lakshmi. So we describe Lakshmi in Vaikuntha, and then her expansion in the material world is another Lakshmi who is her expansion, but she takes care of all the material aspects of wealth and beauty, etc. So we often see Lakshmi depicted by herself with gold coins flowing out of her hands. So this is the material Lakshmi. So it's not exactly a identical with the spiritual Lakshmi. Similarly, we see in the churning of the milk ocean this Lakshmi appear, and this is that material Lakshmi who gives wealth to the material persons when people seek her for that. But she is a reflection of the spiritual Lakshmi, and part of her is part of those qualities are inherent in the spiritual Lakshmi, but spiritual Lakshmi has much more to offer. So, Lakshmi, of course, is dear to Vishnu because she is the best devotee. Her greatest wealth is her devotion, her prema. And similarly, with Krishna, the greatest consort is Radha and the gopis. So they have a more unique wealth of prema than anybody else. And therefore Krishna is affectionate to them as controlled by them. So what to speak of material attractions or whatever they can offer. They can also offer the highest type of prema. And this is why the devotees worship Radha and the gopis, because they have this special prema. And by getting the mercy of Radha and the gopis, then we can also develop a similar type of prema for the Lord. So definitely they're in the highest position. So though here the gopis are giving an example of Lakshmi, etc., whatever, they're actually in a higher position, much higher position. But because they are also identifying themselves as cowherd people, they speak with reverence of Lakshmi, Vishnu, etc. But practically speaking, in terms of their actual position, they are higher than Lakshmi. And thus, we see that, as Lord Chaitanya points out to the purports in Sri Ranga, that Lakshmi also is attracted to Krishna in the Ras Leela, even though she sits on the chest of Vishnu. She also becomes attracted to the extraordinary features of Krishna, which are non-different. He's non-different from Vishnu, but at the same time he has unique features. So even Lakshmi becomes attracted to the aspect of Krishna. But then it is said that she cannot enter into the Ras Leela. Why? Because she's not a gopi. Gopis are higher. So Krishna is higher than Vishnu, and the gopis are higher than Lakshmi. So she's not qualified. Because she does not have the mood of the gopis or the particular form and dress of the gopis. So she cannot enter into the intimate pastimes of Krishna and Radha. So therefore the gopis and Radharani are the highest Lakshmi, the highest Shri of all, highest consorts of the Lord in the form of Krishna. And no one else can take that position. So even in Dwarka, Krishna has queens. Those queens also are not in the same position. Of course, we can say that the main gopis expand into the queens in Dwarka, so Radha becomes Satyabhama and Chandravali is Rukmini, etc. But still, not exactly the same, somewhat less. So the queens of Dwarka also are astonished by the pastimes of Krishna and Vrindavan. And they also cannot enter in because their particular form is different, their particular mood is different. This description here in Ras Leela from chapter 29 onwards is a very unique description that's only available to those who are very, very qualified. And those who were qualified were the gopis. So, of course, when Krishna performed the Ras Leela, it is often mentioned that when they began dancing and singing, and then the devatas were able to accompany them with their instruments and sing and dance also and glorify them, etc. But it is also mentioned that actually nobody could see Krishna dancing with the gopis. And none of the devatas could see that. They were not qualified also. They could see Krishna, but they could not see the gopis at all. Huh? So that's the aspect of the Rasa Leela. They could see Krishna dancing. They could see nothing else. They could see the gopis dancing. So the devatas were not qualified also. And of course, they had male bodies, so they could not enter the Rasa Leela anyway. So, in other words, very, very high qualification for Krishna in Vrindavan, and particularly Krishna in the Rasa Leela with the gopis. Very, very high. So, of course, the great devotees understand this. Okay? So Brahma prays simply to be a piece of grass and to get the dust from the feet of the people of Braja. And Uddhava also prays to be like a shrub, etc. in Vrindavan. Even though he has witnessed and spoken to the gopis, he speaks to the gopis. Krishna sends him to Vrindavan to speak to the gopis, and then from that he realizes their great position. He also simply strives to be servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the gopis. He feels himself completely unqualified. And of course, naturally he cannot enter into the Rasa Leela also because of his particular form and his particular mood, even though he's very close to the Krishna and the people of Raja. So it's a very, very unique position to be in Vrindavan, and particularly to be in the Rasa Leela with Krishna. So initially here, we see that Krishna rejects the gopis also for various reasons, mainly to see their determination. And here, the gopis are replying by very intelligently speaking of how he must accept them, because actually they are the highest. They've given up all attachments and dedicated themselves simply to Krishna. So therefore, he could not reject them. So actually, they're higher than even Lakshmi, who they mentioned here. They're higher than that even. Of course, but they don't identify themselves as being higher in that sense because they take themselves as common people. But they give this example here to show how generous the Lord is with his devotees. So similarly, Krishna should be generous with the gopis and respond to them in the proper way. So, of course, everyone in Vrindavan understands the nature of Krishna, as we see with the Govardhan pastime. Everybody experiences how Krishna responds to the devotees, and when they're in need, he protects them and gives them whatever they need. Not because he's Supreme Lord, but simply because he is so attractive and he satisfies them in all ways, so they take shelter of him. So similarly, the gopis also take shelter of Krishna because of their great love for him, and they expect him to respond properly. Since he responds to everybody in Vrindavan, why does not respond to the gopis? So previously, of course, he was able to exhibit his response to various types of devotees. So when he was in Komara period, he responded to the elders with their Vatsalya Rasa, and he acted as a small child. And then when he entered into Poganda age, then he responded to the boys in Sakya Rasa in a very intimate way, playing with them in whatever according to their mood. He would respond very, very appropriately. So now he's entered into Kashore age. Similarly, he should respond appropriately to the gopis. Since he responds to everybody else, he should respond to the gopis also in a proper way. So this is their plea to Krishna, that he should respond in the most befitting way to satisfy them as he satisfied all the other people of Raja.
This the sadhaka, when he progresses, he comes into raga bhakti, and then he is at appropriate time qualified to enter into virgin pastimes. That's what you understand. They are also qualified to enter into the virgin pastimes. Whereas Lakshmi is not qualified to enter virgin pastimes. How to understand that?
Why is Lakshmi not
A
qualified?
sadhaka can progress to sadhana.
Oh, well, it's just the mood is different. The mood of Lakshmi, of course, is she has a relationship with Vishnu. And that is not filled with raga and the same spontaneous mood, because she regards Vishnu as Supreme Lord, in spite of the fact that she has Madhurya Rasa with him. So therefore, she cannot enter into something like the Ras Lila, in which nobody sees Krishna as Supreme Lord, and therefore there is greater spontaneity in that relationship. So her realization of the Lord is different, and therefore she cannot enter into those pastimes.
Since if a devotee is concentrating on a particular rasa, he must put 100% on that particular rasa. And if he tries to go for a higher rasa, is it not an adulterated thing is following, that is not completely engrossed in that particular rasa? Lakshmi is completely a servant, Dasi rasa, but how she can...
No, she's like Madhurya Rasa.
Not Madhurya. She's not, she's entering, she wants a Madhurya rasa. She's hankering for it.
She's in Madhurya Rasa with Vishnu.
No, Vishnu, but she wants to be with him. But Krishna's
Yeah.
Madhurya rasa is completely different.
But because her mood is different, she sees that the person is the Lord, therefore she cannot enter into it.
The question is, why should she hanker for the higher rasa? She should be satisfied with the Vishnu.
Same rasa, but it's a slightly different mood. But because Krishna is all attractive, that's why.
But in the context of Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sastra Kabunai, Shavanadi Sudhiste Karya Udaya, is this the bhava inherent in the jiva, particular bhava, or is it developing over a period of time?
Well, it depends on what we mean by inherent. Is it, so we say inherent means it's present. So is prema present in the jiva, in the conditioned soul?
Yeah, particular bhava that we are...
Bhava, prema, same thing, huh?
Yeah.
So is it present in the jiva now?
Default.
No.
It is acquired.
If it is, then we should have prema already. It's present. Huh? So therefore, if it inherent means present, then obviously not. The jivas are like the asuras are completely opposite and whatever, and we have to develop. Bhakti is like it grows like a plant. So if it's not actually present as prema, then of course we can ask, well, is it present as bhakti? But even then we say no, because somebody has to plant the seed of bhakti. Yeah. Guru and Krishna plant the seed of bhakti at a certain point. So without that planting, we can't develop bhakti. So even bhakti is not present, so to speak, of prema. Yeah? And even shraddha is not present. Unless you get qualified with shraddha, you cannot start the process of bhakti and get the seed of bhakti. So then shraddha itself is that faith to practice bhakti is not even present in the jiva. And therefore they don't even do anything, they ignore bhakti. So in that sense, we don't say prema is inherent. Certainly, the jiva has the capacity for prema. All jivas have. But one needs the mercy of devotees and get shraddha and then develop bhakti and then develop prema. So capacity is definitely there. But it's also not inevitable that everybody develops prema, because one can just stay in the material world forever by one's own choice. Yeah? So therefore, in that sense, if prema is inherent, means only we can say that it's the capacity for prema, not that it's actually there. What actually Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema means, actually this seems to come from the Nectar of Devotion, where Rupa Goswami defines Nitya Siddhasya Bhavasya Prakriti, when he defines bhava. Bhava, or Astayi Bhava, which may be Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, or Madhurya, manifests in the heart of the jiva. And it is Nitya Siddha. It is eternal. It is not created at any point in time. Why? Because it's spiritual. Okay? So in other words, the spiritual, the eternal spiritual Sthayi Bhava manifests in the jiva at bhava stage. through sadhana bhakti, it suddenly, not suddenly, but gradually, which is a manifestation of an eternal sthayi bhava. Not that doesn't imply that it's always there in the jiva, but it manifests in the jiva at that point. So then where is it eternal? With Krishna, spiritual world, etc. His Shakti is eternal, and the different bhavas are eternal in the spiritual world. And of course, they're eternally there with all of the Nitya-siddha devotees there. Right? So those in Sakya Rasa have Nitya-siddha, Sakya Bhava, and those in Madhurya have Madhurya, Nitya-siddha, Madhurya Bhava, etc. So they all have a portion of that Bhava, which is part of the Swarup Shakti of Krishna himself. Hladini and Sangat Shakti manifested.
For Lord Chaitanya, Krishna has come in this Kali Yuga as Lord Chaitanya, and he gave the Madhurya Bhakti. The holy name itself should take a devotee to the Madhurya level.
Yeah.
So it also depends on the mood of the devotee. Suppose the mood of the devotee is in Vatsalya, Sakya, it may not coincide with the Madhurya level.
Yeah.
So what is more important?
Yeah, of course, the name of the Lord is such that it includes everything. So therefore, if you desire different bhavas, like they can also manifest those. Harinam Chintamani is Chintamani. So if you want Shantarasa, you can get Shantarasa. If you want material benefits, you can get material benefits. If you want Mukti, you can get Mukti. And if you want Madhurya Rasa, you can get. So actually, it can manifest anything for a particular person, depending on his particular desire. And if you want Dwarka, or if you want Mathura also, you can get that. Or even if you wanted some other form of the Lord, you can also get that.
Then why to chant Mahamantra? We can chant Narayana and go.
Could, but the Krishna is the source of everything, so he can bestow everything. All the forms of the Lord are inherent in Krishna. And when he comes in the material world, all the other forms, avatar forms, enter into him as well. So he's a combination of everything.
Like Prabhupada mentioned somewhere that worship of Radha Krishna is as good as worshipping. I mean, for the devotee, it is, until they come to a level, it is Lakshmi Narayan worship.
Beginning.
What should be the understanding? I mean, we worship Radha Krishna, but...
Well, we're doing it in Vaidhi Bhakti because we do Pancharatric worship. That's basically Vaidhi Bhakti. So we're worshiping Radha Krishna according to the moods of Vaidhi Bhakti, following rules and regulations, particularly temple worship.
Then how come he was allowed to participate in Ras Leela dance?
Or he took the form of a gopi.
Gopi. You are gatekeeper. Gatekeeper.
If you take the form of a gopi, then you can enter in.
But then Lakshmi Devi could not take up the form of a gopi.
Very strong in Vishnu Bhakti.
She apparently didn't. She apparently didn't.
She didn't have that much desire. Maybe as
Maybe
Shiva.
she was not so attached.
We hear from this Brihad Bhagavatam, this mentioned that this Krishna's Vrindavan pastime is so sweet. Even the wife of Krishna in Dwarka, they also attracted
Vishnu
to hear this pastime, as well as by hearing, they also might aspire to participate in Braja's pastime. That because so sweet, you know.
Yeah, in one sense, but of course they are fixed in their particular bhavas also, so generally they don't leave those things, even though Krishna is so sweet. So yes, they know about it, but still they remain in Dwarka, etc.
Here this Jagannath pastime, you know, this all the gopis wanted to, also all the wife of Krishna wanted to hear Krishna's pastime.
Yeah.
So because it's very sweet.
Yeah. So they understand, and like Uddhava also understands that exalted nature, and even aspires in one sense, but at the same time he never changes his body or anything like that.
So you can understand that those who are living in Goloka and those who are living in Vaikuntha, these inhabitants of Goloka are higher than the Vaikuntha Vasi, correct?
Yeah.
So sometimes we see even some sadhaka might go from material world to the spiritual world, means Goloka Vrindavan. So means he take the position of higher position of the
Vaikuntha.
Vaikuntha, those who are living there. He's take the higher position of Vaikuntha Vasi. He take the position of higher position Vaikundavasi, because he is in Goloka Vrindavan. Although he followed sadhana bhakti here. Can you say it means he is becoming more higher than the Lakshmi also?
Well, he's higher in the sense that if he goes to Goloka, then he's higher than Vaikuntha in one sense. But a jiva is always a jiva. So we can say his bliss is very great, but at the same time, he never becomes Shakti or he never becomes the Supreme Lord. So his position is always a jiva.
How can you call this, all the gopis, there are also Shakti or Jiva?
It's not, some of them are Shakti, we can say, but many of them are jivas also, because there's billions and billions and billions of gopis. So obviously we have sadhas, siddhas, and nitya siddhas as well. So they are jivas. Nitya siddhas are jivas.
Who are all energies, not mentioned anywhere?
It's not stated anywhere exactly who is Shakti and who is not. But we know Radha is Shakti, Vladimir Shakti personified.
Murugan, ಪಾಡ್ಕೊ. ರೆಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್